And now, Coffee with a Coach on Living Local in Virginia.
As a brain-focused coach and CEO of Cortex Leadership, Lynda McNutt Foster is always looking for a way to get a little bit more out of the hour. So when she learned about a special coffee that focuses on the brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, she had to give it a try. So Lynda, you got us all intrigued, and you brought with you an incredible expert on the matter, health fitness coach Robyn Goodpasture here this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so I'm curious, what is it that you have discovered that's going to help us focus? Everyone's ears are perked.
So there's this whole BulletProof program that's out there. There's a book on it, and the rage is about this BulletProof coffee.
Okay.
Right? So I had one of our co-facilitators for Cortex Council start a year ago, and she loves it. And as soon as she told me about it, I thought it would be disgusting, and so I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I said, forget it. Because I'm like, you don't put sugar in your coffee, you don't put cream, you don't put anything, you just put a bunch of fat. Ooh. I'm not thinking I'm going to like this.
So first, is it any kind of coffee? Is it specific? Okay.
The thing about this coffee, and I think there's other kinds of coffee like this, but there's no mold in it. So it turns out our coffee, they say, has mold in it. Not good for the brain, not good for the body. I know. First thing you got to get over is the fact that your regular coffee is probably not good for you.
Okay.
So then you got to buy this stuff.
Now you're making people really happy this morning.
Like coffee, isn't it? Well, look, if you go to Starbucks, this is a lot cheaper.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's in the coffee? Like, what do you have to? So you have a special coffee.
Easy. You have a special coffee, and now I have a little French roast thing. So I take a couple tablespoons. Well, it's supposed to be a couple teaspoons.
Okay.
Of this, and then you heat up your water. This is the way I do it because I only really need 1 cup of this stuff. I no longer need a pot.
Okay.
So you let it sort of seep.
All right.
So it's going to seep for a minute or so. So we can talk to Robyn about what's happening here.
All right. Yeah. So Robyn, I mean, does stuff like this really work? You guys are obviously you've done this, so this stuff makes a difference?
Well, it really does, but I think that it's super important to understand the context of what works, when it works, and why it works. And so Lynda and I have been around each other now for years and years and years, and so she's always hey, this thing, tell me all about it. So the premise behind BulletProof coffee and adding a healthy fat to it is that there's a certain amount of healthy fats that absolutely your brain works very well on. And it's going to work a whole lot better on some of these healthy fats than your processed carbs, than sugar, all that stuff. Even though you might feel like you have a high from those things, this is actually a sustainable, healthy way to get your brain to function better. Absolutely.
Okay. Right. Now, Lynda, you were putting certain things in the coffee.
So you can use this ghee stuff they have, or you can use this Kerrygold, because this is grain-fed.
Okay.
Cow's milk. Like, however it works, this is much healthier for you.
But it's butter.
Right. It's butter.
Don't
Don't use regular butter, but yeah, this is a type of butter. I guess you could. Then I put some brain octane fuel in there, which is basically oil, which you could also, I guess, use as coconut oil, perhaps.
Well, so what it is, and to understand, like, why is that brain fuel oil? It's medium chain triglycerides, and when you see MCT, that's what people are referring to as brain fuel or what have you, because actually that medium chain absorbs differently in the body, and that's the premise of why this is a better absorber and a better mode of fat for your brain per se. The other thing so some people are definitely using it because they want to think more clearly. Some people are using it as part of a health regimen or to burn fat. The trick is, or the understanding is that if you are going to use this not just for a way to think better and more clearly, you do want to understand the process of this, and you want to, are you going to turn it on?
I'm doing. So
it
we're
does
making
make it tasty.
You can't do this with a spoon. If you do it with a spoon, it's nasty, I've heard.
All right, so don't do it with a spoon, mix it up, but definitely whichever route you take, this is something you probably want to check with someone like yourself or a physician first.
Well, right. I really think it's important because, again, working with so many people on different kinds of, diets, programs, and plans, they're like, oh, Robyn, have you heard about this and have you heard about that? But the problem is if you only do part of it, you could end up actually sort of damaging the results you want, because you can't add a bunch of fat in your coffee and then continue to eat crappy carbs, processed things, and a whole bunch of sugar. For example, I brought this with just to show, and again, it's something that I looked into for my husband, who actually eats keto, which is a high fat, medium protein, super low carb diet. This is a pre-made fat fuel. Has 22 grams of fat, and it also has the medium chain oil. So if you didn't want to go through all of this, you add hot water, and you can get something like this. You can order it on Amazon. You can order it anywhere.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna try.
This is for Kimberly.
All right.
Okay, got it.
Brain focused. Stay with us, because we're gonna have more Living Local coming up after the break.